Hey everybody, this is Kaous, Kaous Games, and today what I want to talk about is I recently played Nioh, and just wanted to give my thoughts on that game. Now, the first thing that comes to mind when you go into Nioh is that it's a Dark Souls-like game. That it's becoming its own genre, pretty much, of games like that. But really, let's call it by its proper name. It's an action RPG, with some hack and slash elements. So really, mostly it's really like a healthy cross of Ninja Gaiden and Dark Souls. Like, pretty much, there's no other way to describe it. I'll say that the combat in Nioh is more detailed than a Souls game. Furthermore, what's cool about Nioh is you can add certain special skills to your repertoire as you develop your character, like Bado Jutsu slashes and various kinds of parrying techniques that make the game a little bit more interesting and adds a bit more depth than you would see in a Dark Souls game. Everything's pretty basic in a Dark Souls game. What I will say is that weapon variety in Nioh isn't quite as high as your standard Souls game. Because obviously you have your base weapon sets in Dark Souls or in a Souls game, but you also have your special weapons that show up out of nowhere sometimes. Like your demons or your demon soul weapons or boss soul weapons, or your silver. There are certain Titanite weapons that aren't basic at all. It's like the one of the most recent Ashes of Area Andal, where you had the throwing the shurikens and the rapier that you find off of the falcon or the crow monster thingies in that area in the painting. So various special weapons like that. So you don't see that as much. But I will say the weapons that they do have in Nioh, you'll find have a lot more depth to them, and the opportunity to customize them and expand them further to suit your style, how you want to do it. Obviously, the fighting style itself has 3 distinct styles in it. High stance, mid stance, low stance, that are good for various encounters. So it adds a bit more depth to it. The graphics are decent. They're not the best thing you'll ever look at. And it's fast paced and it's fun. It's challenging. But it's not really unfair. I will say one thing that keeps Nioh back, in my opinion, and doesn't put it over a Dark Souls game is, one, it's mission based, which for any kind of RPG is going to take some points off, in my opinion, because it's the part of an RPG to me is the exploration factor. And if you do things to limit that exploration factor, you obviously are taking a bit of thunder from the game, and being mission based like a Ninja Gaiden game like that is kind of a negative for an RPG of any sort. So that hurt it a bit for me. And I will say that the environments that you do go into, they're okay. Sometimes they reuse them a little too much, though, when you do the submissions. The story is not all that special. It's decent. Basically, it's a rescue the damsel scenario and some variation or the other. So it's and he gets caught up. The main character William gets caught up in some crazy stuff along the way. Not much to it. It's a rescue the damsel and revenge story, basically. Hidden lore isn't much in this game. I mean, it relies on Sengoku period events. Some of it not historically accurate. Like by the time I believe William actually came to Japan, the time period in this game, I believe that Hanzo Hattori was already dead a few years earlier, and they have those two as heavy actors in the game. As basically Hanzo Hattori is basically Williams' right-hand man this whole game, and historically, I think Hanzo was dead already. So might be some inconsistencies there, but they take some obvious liberties with historical situations and try to throw a spin on it. But overall, like I said, it's a quality game. It's definitely worth picking up, especially if you're a fan of either Ninja Gaiden or Soul series games. If you own a PS4, it's a must-have for sure. If that sounds right to be right up your area or up your alley, yeah, it's good times, man. Definitely good times, and you'll definitely have some fun with it. That's for sure. With that said, let me go ahead and get back to Horizon Zero Dawn, and I'll be picking up Zelda Breath of the Wild here on Friday. So, looking for a lot of good gaming here in March. And anyway, until next time, it's been Kaous with Kaous Games, and Gamers Game On.